Peace and blessings to the Doe family. This channel is just solely for the enlightenment, survival, and maturation of men. Now, before we get into the knowledge, get into the game, go ahead and hit that subscribe and that like button. And also hit that bell icon so you can stay up on the latest. Alright, so this is the last installment to the 4-part series, The Mastery of Masculinity. What we covered in parts 1 through 3 in sequence is first we worked on our physical appearance as well as the way we carry ourselves. Then next in part 2 we covered the approach and reading her, from her body language to the signs and signals she sends you. Then in part 3 we went over building her attraction for you and ways to keep a tight grip on the situation and always leading her into a better mood. So here in part 4, last but not least, assuming you've executed the previous parts well and got the woman you had your sights on, we're going to cover how to maintain and keep the attraction consistent throughout the relationship and the connection that you all are building. You see, the thing that the dating coaches and gurus don't teach is how to keep and maintain a relationship or connection with the woman. They have all the dating hacks, one-liners, techniques, and tips on how to get a woman and impress short term. But when the dust settles and the smoke clears, man, who you are to the core is going to have to stand front row and center and stand tall. Having game doesn't improve your intentions. You have to make conscious efforts to make something, or should I say allow a connection to work. Every man wants a queen to be a part of his kingdom. Let's be real. So at some point in your life, you have to learn to coexist with a woman in order to maintain a solid relationship or marriage. So having short-term game is a totally different world of having game built for longevity. It's similar to a boxer who gives it all he got, the first round. If the other boxer or his opponent is able to make it to the second round, shoot, he gonna be served up, man. That's easy work. You know what I mean? So one thing's for sure, it never stops. You will forever be on your toes, man. Anytime you slack off or show weakness, they will make an attempt to take lead or manipulate you, but don't take it personal. That's just their way of making sure you're capable to lead and protect your kingdom. It's simply their nature, as it's our nature to lead and build. But alright, man, let's get into the knowledge, get into the game, So when you all make it official, that same game and thoroughness you had about yourself to bag it, girl, is the same energy you want to keep throughout the relationship. That's what attracted her to you, so why would you switch that up? But the number one mistake that a lot of us make is making her a priority. Most of the time that's what they're going to want. But giving in to the whole, I want more of your time, I think I need to be a priority in your life, that's the problem. Because that is shifting the energy of what initially made the connection work in the first place. Now, let me be clear when I say this, because what I'm about to say is going to go against what we have been conditioned to believe. But a man on top of his existence in general doesn't have priorities. Priorities are for the people who are unorganized and for the people who don't have their things together or in order. We've been conditioned to believe you have to have priorities in life. But what most people deem as priorities as men is just simply us handling our business, which makes it a requirement, not a priority. Going to work, taking care of your kids, keeping up with bills, food in the fridge, gas in the car, all of that. It's simply what's required of you to maintain a certain quality of life. Priorities is what you need to focus on because you've dropped the ball in that aspect, one way or another. And you say, okay, I need to make this a priority. And once you have a grasp or a firm grip on it, it now becomes a habit. And if it's important enough, it becomes a requirement for those who seek maximum results, right? So no longer making it a priority because it comes a way of life for you. So now let's correlate this to women. What does it mean when a woman tells you they should be a top or the number one priority in your life? What it means is she wants to be above all else in your life. She wants to invade your thoughts. She wants to be the recipient of your actions. She wants you to prioritize her comforts in life and increase the quality of her life, and the list goes on and on. Now, the problem with that is, as a man on his purpose, on his path, on his personal legend, shout out to the book The Alchemist, man. My homie Jerron Wyman put me on, which is hands down one of the best books I've come across. But back to the game. A man on his personal legend understands the conflicts of a relationship or falling in love prior to fulfilling his purpose. Because a woman can be your biggest supporter or your biggest enemy, your most treasured possession or your most stressful addition. They can be the most beautiful thing in your life or the worst thing that has ever happened to you, man. So this is for my brothers on a purpose, because everyone doesn't have the desire to figure out what they want from life, or even have the desire to pursue it if they do happen to have one. Some of us are very much content with living a quiet, modest life, and there's nothing wrong with that at all, man. To each his own. But a man living modestly is far more willing to focus majority, if not all, of his attention on a woman. But for us brothers who are pursuing a purpose, man, we can't afford the distraction of a woman who is more like a succubus than a helpmeet. That's why you must only entertain high quality women that are about your purpose as well. One wants to see you accomplish all you set out to accomplish and will remove obstacles from your life rather than put an obstacle or be one to you. She will recognize that if you win, then she wins as well, which then makes her a requirement because she's a part of your kingdom. And we all know the growth and the thriving of the kingdom is the requirement. But it takes a special kind of woman to see this, because she will have moments of doubt, neglect, and fear, which is enough to make the most loyal women tap out, bruh. When she brings these questions to you of, hey, I want more of your time, or hey, I need to be a priority, make no mistake, man, she's already been thinking about this for days, if not weeks. She's already talked to friends, family about this, her girlfriends, like whoever she goes and confides to. So when she brings it to you, she already knows what she wants from the situation. But fellas, that's neither here nor there. With all that said, if you consider your woman as a part of your kingdom, then she is to not be neglected. There's nothing wrong with showing her you appreciate her and all she does for you. And it's not simping to make her feel special and wanted, man. After all, that's your girl, right? And we vow as kings and masculine men that everything we're associated with will thrive and turn to gold. Real talk. But, of course there's a but, right? Now, this is something I say probably on every video that I've put on YouTube, man. But as hardworking men, as kings, man, the resources that you have acquired are not for free. They're not to be taken for granted, taken advantage of. They are to be appreciated. You know what I'm saying? These are things that you've acquired through your blood, sweat, and tears. So if you take time from building up your kingdom to actually build her up, and she doesn't appreciate it, man, you need to cut it off. Just be done with it altogether. You know what I mean? Now, another dynamic you want to keep under control is following the woman's lead. This is one of the aspects I'm surprised I even have to talk about, but men are being led by the feminine principles in their women at an alarming rate. There's levels to everything, and a minor level of following a woman's lead would be, let's say asking her what she wants to eat. Yeah, we've all gone through this, and some of y'all are still going through this to this day, but I'm gonna help you out today, man. Most men ask their woman initially, where they would like to eat, and that's fine. That's not where the problem lies. But where the problem comes in at is once she acts indecisive and say, I don't know where I would like to eat. Most men will mirror her indecisiveness and put it back on her, which subconsciously gives her the perception that you can't lead or make sound decisions for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? A simple fix for this is, first, most of us have a few go-to places or a couple spots we want to try, right? Also, we can find something we like in almost any restaurant we go to. So most of us aren't picky by nature, but that's besides the point here. In order to demonstrate your capability to lead, you must make sound and swift decisions. For example, I'm gonna give you a couple scenarios. Let's say you say, hey, I was about to grab something to eat from this new spot I wanted to try. You're welcome to join me if you want to come, This method of presenting it like that removes options for her and puts her in a +1 scenario versus her choosing. You know what I mean? It's basically saying, hey, I'm going here, you can ride. Now, she says, I tried it already and didn't like it. How about this place? Or she says, I had a taste for pizza, or whatever she may have a taste for. This is where you hold firm and stand your ground, man. And simply say, oh, okay, I'll have to try that place out one day. I heard it's good. Or you could tell her to go ahead and go get that for herself if that's what she wants. And y'all can meet back at your place or hers and still eat together. But 99.9% of the time, she will happily join you. And her comfort level will increase off of something as simple as food choices. Now, if she does so happen to show emotion or present herself as upset or pouting or whatever it may be, understand this emotion is not an emotion for you. She is not upset or irritated with you. What you did is you offered her a different option in life. You know what I'm saying? You shook up her world a little bit. So it's more so her anger is more so like, dang, I'm not used to being told no, or I've never been handled that way. You know what I mean? I'm used to getting my way. So that's where that emotion comes from. It comes from her just trying to process what the hell just happened. You know what I'm saying? Because every dude she's dated prior to you, before you, has taken her wherever she wanted to go, has made all the food choices her choice. So, if she wants to be quiet, let her be quiet. If she wants to pout, let her pout. But don't give in to it. Don't ask her, baby, what's wrong and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Because what you did is give her the option that her choice is not going to always be the choice when it comes to you making a decision. So that's a minor example that I know for a fact so many of us fell on because we view it as minor. But a more complex thing men allow women to lead is the direction of the relationship. Being pressured to take it to the next level, being given ultimatums, paying for a whole house while being given permission to have a man cave. Having a joint account as the only account that y'all have, and the list goes on and on. Man, I've heard countless horror stories of women who only take. There's men who take too, but that's not what we're addressing right now. You know what I mean? That is what you call a leech. That is parasite in nature. As men, we must learn to stand our ground and stand on what you believe in. Now let's keep it moving, man. You want to give yourself space, man. Notice I didn't say give her space, because what you're focused on is your well-being. Especially during the initial building phase, when everything feels so impossible and just too good to be true. You do not want to smother her, or you do not want to be smothered in these moments. And you also want to make your presence feel valuable. And you do this by making yourself less available and making your time scarce. I mean, just think, a lot of things that are valuable in life, in a material sense now, a lot of things that are valuable are scarce in nature. So let's say Louis Vuitton or something drops a hat, and they only made 5 of those hats in particular. They can put whatever price tag they want on those 5 hats, because they're gonna sell, because people recognize that dang, these are the only 5 hats of that type on this earth. So I'm willing to pay whatever price tag is required to pay, because that puts me in rare company. That adds value to myself. This is why VIP in clubs exist. This is why the skybox, or let's say floor seats, exist. You know what I mean? This is why being verified on social media exists, because people understand that being in rare company adds value to you. So, scarcity is very valuable. So, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say you had plans to work out or work on a project, hang with the homies, or hell, just sit at home and have time to yourself. But the point simply remains, You do not want to be up under her, and you do not want to be readily or easily available whenever she reaches out to you. Now, you do want to give her healthy portions of your time, because after all, you do wish to enhance and further build the connection, right? But your time is not hers to do with as she pleases. It is not hers to make plans for your time and let you know after the fact that she made plans for you both. That's not an option. That's very disrespectful to your time. And this disrespect only happens when every time she hits you up, you jump at the opportunity to be in her presence. Now, you also want to make a conscious effort to understand your woman's emotional language, because not every woman you meet will communicate with the same level or the same type of emotions, but every woman does speak through their emotions. And if you try to use logic and ration to decode her, then you will fail every time and be left puzzled and feeling like all women are crazy, and that's just not true. You know what I mean? You just gotta know how to speak to them or understand what they're presenting to you. Now, this doesn't mean every woman can be reached or helped, or every woman deserves this type of treatment. Some women, and hell, some men are just lost causes and not worth their effort, but either way, it's your job to know the difference. Alright, now last but not least, man, you want to make sure she's investing just as much, if not investing more than you are in the relationship. You know, it's human nature to be attached to that which we give our time, thoughts, energy, effort, and emotions, because all that equals up to investment. You know, that's why you see toxic relationships where both parties know it's a lost cause, but they've invested so much emotions, time, and effort that it becomes very difficult to part ways. You know, so you want to invest with precision and always make sure she's investing as well. It's common practice for the man to overinvest, which has caused women to not invest at all in most cases. You know, not by choice, but by conditioning. So that's why it's up to you to lead her properly. The modern social concepts of relationships are simply the man is to serve the woman and she is the prize. That's why relationships are failing at a higher rate now, because women naturally don't want to lead and they are repulsed by a weak man. So having their way initially gives them a false sense of happiness, but overnight they'll find themselves wanting out and away from him. So believe me, man, the whole toxic masculinity thing is, man, that's smoke and mirrors. A masculine man is what they not only want, but what they need. But these are just some of the ways to keep that attraction level high throughout the building process. You know, there's layers to this and definitely goes much deeper, but you must first grasp on these minor adjustments first. You know, if you have any other ways to help the dope family with this, feel free to drop them in the comment section, man. Let's build each other up. You know, but like I always say, it's a hard journey, but a necessary journey of maturation. Be sure to hit that subscribe and that like button, and also the bell icon so you can stay up on the latest. Feel free to email me at dopediscourse@gmail.com for a free consultation, man, or just to chop it up. You know, at some point I want to connect with the whole dope family one way or another. You know, I don't care if you just send me the fist emoji, the 100 emoji, the flame emoji. I don't care if you hit me up just saying, yo, bro, I'm just showing love. You know, I like your content, whatever it is. You know, it don't have to be nothing too fancy. But at some point, I do want to make a connection with all of you. You know what I mean? But I appreciate your love, man. I appreciate you rocking with me. Until next time, my dope family, I'm out.